community plays a key role in our spiritual formation. At a surface level, we become like the people we hang out with, the people that we spend time with. We dress like them, think like them, vote like them, listen to the music they listen to, all of that. But at a deeper level, community, and by that, I would define that as intentional relationships around the way of Jesus. It does two things in our transformation into Christ-likeness: exposure and encouragement. Exposure, it exposes what's actually inside of you. Just like in the story of the 12. And James, John, mommy, all of that was there. Selfish ambition, greed, dishonesty. That was all there in James and John, but it would not have come out if they had stayed home with mommy. An anger problem, that was all there in Peter, but it would not have come out if he had stayed back home with dad in the boat. Community exposes what's actually inside of you, what Pete Scazzaro, that writer we love, The Emotionally Healthy Church, calls your shadow side. Here's how he defines your shadow side. Your shadow is the accumulation of untamed emotions, less than pure motives and thoughts that, while largely unconscious, strongly influence and shape your behaviors. It is the damaged but mostly hidden version of who you are. And we all have a shadow side, all of us. The thing about your shadow side is it's not only hidden from other people, but a lot of the time it's hidden from us. Not all of us are Peter Pan and have this high shadow awareness. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, some of you grew up in the 90s right there. Others of you are like, everybody under 28 is like, wait, what? Hugh Jackman, terrible. You ruined the story, all right? If you know what I'm saying. Not all of us see our shadow side. A lot of us are blind to it until we step into community. Any kind of deep, honest relationship, a marriage, a deep friendship with, whatever, a tight-knit Bridgetown community, you actually step into that and it exposes where you're really at. Just a week or two ago, I had a hard conversation with somebody in our staff who was kind enough to basically call me on my shadow side and basically said, hey, there's some ways that you're leading our staff that are just unhealthy and you're critical, and he was very gracious about it, but you don't create a safe place for people to disagree, and it's all true and all stuff I know. And so we had a good talk, and I had to repent to him and repent to our staff, and that was just no fun at all. But it was really good for me. And it was really interesting. I was in this conversation about it with Gerald, who was also there. And I think I was saying, hey, I want, if this ever happens again, I want you to come to me, open door policy, all that kind of stuff. And then I said, I think it's safe to say that I'm good at repenting. And then but you're never really sure if you think that you're good at something, if you're actually good at something. So I said, Gerald, is that true? And Gerald is so interesting. He said, yes. And then he had this throwaway line. And he's like, but you always feel like you need to be understood. And he said it so nice. He was so kind. I don't know if it was much more than a passing thought. I cannot stop thinking about that for the last 2 weeks. And I'm like, dang it. Just when I thought I was good at repenting, I realized that's so me. I need to explain myself. Here's why. If you're into the Enneagram, I'm a type 1. According to Enneagram Institute, I'm 1% of the population. On the Myers-Briggs, I'm an INTJ. That's 1.3% of the population, the most rare of the male species. I just constantly feel misunderstood. So I have to explain myself. Well, I know that was really lame, and I'm super sorry, and I'm quick to repent. Here's why I did it. Do. People don't care why I did it. I just need to say, I'm sorry, that was stupid, please forgive me. Help me change. That's the kind of stuff that doesn't come out unless you're in community. And there's that impulse in all of us just to be like, that was really awkward, I'm just going to go make a new friend. This is like the millennial way to deal with conflict. Unfriend you, bye. It's just like that. No, that's not a helpful way forward. But this is the way of Jesus, and as hard as it is, it's a beautiful reality of community. So that's what community does, exposure, but then in a healthy Jesus community, it also does, on the back end of that, encouragement. We'll talk about this next week, but long story short, at a psychological and a neurological level, literally in your brain chemistry, the only way to get healing from relational wounds is in relationship. So our deepest wounds come from relationship, mom, dad, a breakup, whatever, and our greatest healing comes from relationship. It's why it's so tragic when people are hurt by a divorce, family of origin, a breakup, a relationship. When they wall off and say, I'm never going to get close to somebody again because I don't want to get hurt, they essentially stay broken forever. Because the only way to actually get at a psychological and neurological level, the only way to get healing is to step back into, this time, a healthy Jesus kind of relationship. My psychologist had this great line a few months ago. I was working with him on our spiritual formation paradigm. He's a PhD, brilliant guy, and we spent quite a bit of time working on it. And when we were talking about this community piece, if you remember that paradigm, he had this great line, and he said, quote, Freud was all wrong, which you can say if you're him, but he was dead right on one thing. You fix your broken part in relationship. You fix your broken part in relationship. If you're an introvert like me, you want to go off to Savi Island and fix it by yourself with your journal. And there's a place for that. But you fix your broken part in relationship. Community is where we get healing, where we have family, a safe place to stumble and fall and have people help you back up again. All that to say, if you want to grow and mature into Christ-likeness, community is once again non-optional. I love this from that book, Slow Church, that we read, that was going around at least about a year ago. The writers have this to say: spiritual formation occurs primarily in the context of community. Long-term interpersonal relationships are the crucible of genuine progress in the Christian life. People who stay, grow. People who leave do not grow. It is a simple but profound biblical reality that we both grow and thrive together, or we do not grow much at all. I love that language of the crucible. Yes, community, if you're in one, if you're in it, you know it's really hard at times, but it's in the crucible of community that we're formed, that we're forged in the fire to be like our Rabbi Jesus.